We're here with 7th grade girls basketball coach T-Town, Eric Roley, and 8th grade girls basketball coach Jordan Powles. Why is the junior high program here, the 7th grade especially, having such a successful season year in and year out?
Yeah, it's the kids. The kids, they know the tradition of the school. They see the wall with the state appearances, and they want that. They work at it in their driveways, at home. Also, the parental support that we get from the parents is a lot of the reason for the success at Totopolis. So, hard work, dedication, all the traits of a wooden shoe.
Jordan, you're 8th grade, but also you're Eric's assistant. You guys work so well together, but also, why do you think these kids buy in so well with the program?
I think it's just the tradition. They are just used to winning. They've been around winning, and they want to be a part of that as they get older. So it's some years it's more difficult than others. It takes longer to get a group to buy in, but overall, by the end of that 7th or 8th grade year, they're fully bought in for the most part. But I think it just has a lot to do with the tradition of winning around here.
The toughest challenge as a coach is getting the girls to believe in themselves, to have that dream of going to a state tournament, but to believe in themselves that they can do it. A lot of girls want to do it, but they have to believe in themselves to get to that point.
Yeah, I'm on the same page, same answer, but this year especially for me, it's taken us 2 years to get that 8th grade group to really believe that they can be successful and win. They didn't really have that in them yet, and they finally started to towards the end, and you could see it in the results that they were having more fun and really believing they could actually do something.
Sure.
I've been here, this is my 6th year coaching in the junior high girls program. My first 3 years were 7th grade coach, and then my last 3 have been 8th grade coach.
And for me, this is my 3rd year as the girls' 7th grade coach. I had previously coached boys basketball at Effingham Sacred Heart, took some time off, and then got back into coaching. So yeah, 3 years.
It starts on the court. You got to put the time into it. How do you feel like they've molded themselves into such great kids, but also great athletes?
Yeah, so the kids, like I said, they work on their own. That's one of the biggest differences here. But as a coach, your job is to give them confidence, constant reinforcement, letting them know when they're doing things wrong, but also letting them know when they're doing things right, and giving them the confidence in themselves to go out and perform.
When you guys are coaching and you're talking to each other, what advice or what are some of the things you're talking to each other about that maybe people don't realize, or stuff that goes on?
My role as his assistant, and we've talked numerous times about this, is to give him as much information as I can. Because as a head coach, you got blinders on in certain scenarios, and you don't always see everything. So I'm constantly trying to listen to the other coaches make calls and then seeing what defenses they're going to set up in. And then I will go down and tell him, and I'll also give him suggestions that I told him, if you don't take my suggestions, it doesn't hurt my feelings. So I'm just giving you any kind of feedback I think would help.
Yeah, so same as what Jordan said. We've worked together for 3 years now. We know how things go. We're constantly lobbing ideas at each other all game. If it sticks, that's great. One scenario in the championship game, Jordan said, "Hey, go man-to-man here." And we went man-to-man, and it kind of threw Williamsville off, just enough. But to have confidence in each other that, we can give each other suggestions means quite a bit.
What advice from other coaches have you guys been given, maybe to improve coaching, but also just in general, maybe you guys should do this, maybe you guys should do that?
I'm constantly talking with, I work in the same building, Kent Nieberge, and he's been doing it for a while. It's had a lot of success. So I'm constantly trying to pick his brain. Boys and girls are slightly different the way you have to coach them, but it's same concepts, same fundamentals. But he's given a lot of good information. Eric has also, I try to pick his brain. coached a while too, and we just try to bounce ideas off each other and see what helps out.
As coaches, we're also students of the game. You know, before the state championship game, I got a text from Coach Reeder, a text from Coach Thompson. It's nice to know that they're in your corner. And a lot of coaches just say enjoy the ride. It's hard to enjoy it when you're right in the thick of it. You know, you're game planning, you're up late at night watching game film. But the best advice I got was to sit back and enjoy the experience, which I tried to do before the championship game. But you know, you're so focused on what you're doing. So,
what are some of the things that goes on behind the scenes that maybe people just don't realize?
Yeah, so I mean, you're setting practice schedules that work for your schedule, the school schedule, the gym schedules. Parents organizing meal trains, you know, for your road games. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. Bus schedules, concession schedules. You know, a lot of it is just pre-planning for every scenario. So behind the scenes, even for road games, getting equipment ready, making sure you have everything. Manager schedules,
rotation.
right?
Yeah, there's a lot.
So there's a lot to it.
Jordan, you're more the laid-back kind of guy. Eric, you're more the fiery kind of guy. How does the differences mesh so well together?
I think we have worked very well together the last 3 years.
Yeah.
When he gets too worked up in a certain moment, and we've talked about this numerous times. He'll always say, "Hey, don't let me get too excited in this scenario." And then on the same end of it, he will add a little fire maybe to my group if they're not maybe buying into what I'm preaching that day. So I think our two personalities are working very well together, complementing each other.
Yeah, so Coach Powles and I have the same values, the same thought processes. Sometimes we deliver messages in a different way, but that's what makes it great. I am pretty fiery sometimes. I probably need to cut back on the Red Bulls a little bit. But, you know, again, the same values, the same techniques, delivered in a different way, kind of a yin and yang, but that's what makes it great. Again, going back to the traditions of Teutopolis basketball, these kids are raised seeing great teams, pivotal moments in games. I think they have that desire inside of them. It's up to us to help bring it out, but they have to want it themselves. I think these kids want to be coached. We tell them at the beginning of every year, don't take us personal. We're going to coach you hard, but we're going to love you after.
Jordan, at first you were kind of like, I'll be a girls basketball coach, okay. But you've really kind of grown up and understood being a girls basketball coach is actually a lot of fun. What went into that, and kind of how do you feel it is now?
It started 12 years ago at South Central. I got hired on to teach science over there, and it came with the junior high softball coach and the junior high girls basketball coach. And I was just coming off playing my baseball career and always coaching boys baseball, just helping boys. Never thought in my wildest dreams I'd coach girls basketball. Never had a desire to, believe it or not. Once I was forced kind of to do it with the job, I don't want to stop coaching girls at this age, because they will work for you to no end. They'll run through a wall for you, and they don't think they're too good yet at this age. They're still willing to learn. And every year our goal is to get the most out of every single girl, just the most potential we can get out of them. And it's here and even at South Central, those girls worked day in, day out for me. And that's the most enjoyable part, seeing the progression.
Jordan, 2 years ago, the team you coached in 8th grade, 30-0, won the state title, IESA history. What went through your mind as a coach, but also the players that you coached, all the smiles and happiness on their faces?
It was great. There were a lot of expectations for this group to do that, so it made it more difficult. But it was more. I wish I was able to enjoy it more along the way, because it felt more like a job. Like each winning a regional you're supposed to. Don't celebrate too hard. You're supposed to. Winning a sectional, you're supposed to do that. And then we get to the state tournament, and we were inches away from getting beat the first game. So I think that kind of opened the girls' eyes a little bit, and we played 2 tough teams on Saturday. The second game, they fought back, down 7 with 2 minutes to go, and just started making shots. And then they just found a way to pull it off. But I couldn't really enjoy it until that final buzzer went off. And it was just kind of relief. And it was relief that they pulled it off. Like, I was excited for the girls and the parents along the way. But it's a moment I'll never forget, that season, because it's never happened before. It probably will happen again, but to this point, it's been one of the best seasons in junior high girls basketball.
How did you feel with this group, and knowing you won the state title against Williamsville, how nerve-wracking that state championship game was, but just being a part of this team and kind of helping these girls along the season?
Yeah, so as Coach Powell's talked about, expectations were high coming into the season. We knew they had talent, but for us it was managing those expectations, one game at a time, not looking too far ahead, even though you want to. Going into the regional, I was probably the most calm I've ever been, going against undefeated Paris Mayo. Just resigned to the fact that they're ready. The sectional, I felt like we were just ready. And then you get to the state tournament, it's like, oh man, we're here. And then you win 2 games on Saturday, and it's like, oh man, we're in the championship game. We expected to be here, we wanted them to be here, but the fact is, you have to put in the work to get there. And the championship game was, again, just a great atmosphere. My favorite part of the whole deal was after the game, the girls are racing to each other, they're hugging, they're crying, and you just watch them because you're happy for them. They'd worked so hard for it.
I felt like if come in and just continue that tradition. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. Like growing up playing against T-Town, I knew what it takes to win. So I've seen it growing up. You hear about it all the time. And when I came in, I just wanted to keep doing what has been working.
Same for me. The expectations every year. Again, you're just trying to manage the expectations. We say this a lot to each other, but we trust the process of where you start to where you finish. You want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the year. But again, trusting the process, knowing the traditions, we feel like we represent our community very well.
So sometimes we question the process.
Sometimes we question the process.
We still trust in it, and it has been working out.
Who has had the biggest impact on your life?
The biggest impact on my life would be definitely my family. My family and Coach Powell's family, they support everything that we do. They come to the games. My son Anthony was in face paint at the state games and the sectional. And it's just fun to watch your family support you. We miss a lot of meals. We miss a lot of homework. But they come out and support what we do because they know how much we love it.
Favorite part to being a coach?
To me, this is an easy question, easy answer. It's the joy in the girls and boys. I coach 6th grade boys too, my son. Just the joy in seeing them perform and get better and grow as people and then have success along the way that's why I do it, just to see that progression and the excitement on their faces when they accomplish something.
From when you both started coaching to where you're at now, how much has the game of basketball changed?
Basketball's changed a lot, but the kids haven't changed. They still have the same goals, the same dreams, the same work ethic. Basketball now is a more physical game, but as far as mindsets and mentalities, really everything has been the same since I've started coaching.
7th grade coach Eric Roley, state champion with the 7th grade girls this year. 8th grade coach Jordan Powell's make it to the state quarterfinals. 7th and 8th grade both go to state this year. Guys, thank you for taking the time for me. I really appreciate it. Good luck to the shoes the next couple of years.
Tyler, thanks for taking the time to do this with us.
Absolutely.
It's nice to be heard.
Yeah.
But a lot of thanks, which he'll probably cover in his speech today, is to the parents, to our family, our wives, our kids, grandparents, the girls, Mr. Drace, everyone that has been, Derek Zaruzin, has been along the way to help us. Makes our job a lot easier.
Everything Jordan just said. I mean, there's so many thank yous, which I will get into in my speech today. Our families, the administration, Mr. Drace, he does so much for the coaches, and he supports us to no end. Tyler, you covering all this, all the highlight videos, you know, I get to watch for the rest of my life. I actually just watched your highlight video from the state championship game last night, and I still get chills. It's still moving. So, so many people along the way, and to the players, putting their heart and soul into the season. Hard work and dedication definitely paid off.